Okay, on day two, we prepare this user interface where we select the video sources only. And today we gonna add control pages. Also, we prepared a light control, and today I would like to add a map to this. And we also could add a climate control. Okay, so let's get started. So we have video sources. Just to remind, on the video page, we have a dynamic subpage list. Actually, it means that we read a data source and we feed data to the parameters. And what we have to do, we have to add additional parameter here, which gonna name a control page. And when we click any of this button, it will switch to the corresponding page. Okay, let's go to the data source. In data source, we go to edit and add an object which we could call control page. Okay, for the PC, we don't have control, and let's name control no. Add comma, copy this. So we don't have control for the PC and the same for the Mac, but we do have for the Amazon Fire Stick, and let's name it control Amazon. Okay, save data source. Now we have to create two pages. Let's start from control no. On the control no, let's add an text and name it and no control. Okay. And next, we could go and add, yeah, let's go clone this page, rename it to Amazon. And for Amazon page, let's add dpad, and this let's rename just Amazon, just like idea. Okay, so we created two pages. No control, control Amazon. Next, what we're gonna do? So we need parameter. How we get these parameters? Actually, we read these parameters from subpages. So we're gonna edit subpage. On the subpage, we add open actions and add new action. This action is going to be routing page flip. Switch to the manual, enter page name manual. And for the target page name, we just select assign dynamic value. Here we switch to the subpage parameters and create new subpage parameter, which we're gonna call control page. And switch to the string. Okay, so now we created this parameter. We also can edit and page. Okay, now it makes sense. Now we can close, switch back, and now when we go to the parameters on the video page, we can see, oh, it's automatically add. Nice, cool. So just to understanding how it's possible, it's when we select a data source, now it's appears control page here. So we select control page and now it's added. Next, let's see how it works. So we have to switch to the live preview, and since we changed a data source, it's time when we have to reload data source, because usually data source loading once on the when the project starts. Okay, now it's loaded, and let's switch to the PC. We have a no control for this source. Next, let's go to the Fire Stick. We have Amazon Fire Stick. And next, let's go to the Mac. It's the same, no control page. So I hope it makes sense. Everything is clear. Okay, let's move forward. And on the next step, I would like to add advanced light control. In this case, what we can do, let's create another page we will call advanced light. Advanced. So light advanced. Okay. On this page, I would prefer to use this subpage. It's just my approach. You can add directly objects here or do this page in adaptive design. But my approach is to create subpage, which gonna be adaptive light. And let's do its light. Let's do advanced sub page. Okay, light advanced sub page and edit. Okay, let's say we change the size of this sub page, and for example, like about 600 to 500. Yeah. What else? I would like to add as background and custom image and a pic from the library. Okay, in this case, I have to add to the project media library the picture. I prepared the plan and I'm gonna upload this. Here you go, it's uploaded. Now I can select container and pick image for this container. Okay, so what we have now, we have a plan with a container. Okay, we can do some maybe like gray out some background, which is actually makes sense. Okay, to see the result, let's also add here an additional button. Yeah, and just to recognize this button, let's just give us another icon, and we will flip this to the light advanced. Okay, so now we have a button where we can switch between the light and light advanced, but what we don't have subpage yet. Okay, so let's add subpage. And now we have a light and we have advanced subpage. Here you go. So we have our subpage and here's our subpage. What we can do next on this subpage, we can add additional buttons. Let's change this icon again. Anyone? Okay. Let's say icon size is gonna be 25. Remove text since we don't need really text, but yeah. And just distribute this here if you would like to add additional here, or let's do next, next, next. Okay, so what we actually have here, we add buttons. Each button might have own action. And in this case, when we click this button, we can switch the light and have manual control. The same way we can use for the volume control or for something else. So you name it. I hope it makes sense. One more thing I would like to show you about the background. Sometimes it's happening. It really depends on size of the background, yeah. But usually you select fill type is contain, and if you noticed, it just repeat here. In next releases, we're gonna add this feature, just disable repeat this content, but it really makes sense to use contain because it really will fit to the subpage. So what we can do right now and today, you can name it like workaround or like a feature, it's up to you. Let's name, create a new CSS class, which we're gonna call is disabled repeat. So we're gonna put its before, and next, let's name background repeat, and here is a no repeat. Okay, so now we can copy a name of this class, go back to the container, and in this container, let's replace new class. If you noticed, it's gone. Again, I cancel, you see, background repeats. Maybe it's not really noticeable right now on the screen. Yeah, because it's almost full. But in general, if you look more careful, it just gone. Okay. Let's move forward and add one more page. One more page for the climate. It's also a common question in responsive design. Climate. For the climate page, we also need additional button, which will allow us to switch to that page. Let's use something temp. Okay. Use this icon. Just change to the climate. Okay, now we can switch between lights and climate. Okay, so here we have also a few different approaches. It's up to you. My favorite is to use subpages. Why subpages? I can explain. Okay, let me show first approach. Slider. Oh, I'm sorry. Circle slider. Circle slider. Okay, so circle slider give you ability to add analog value to send to the control system and also read a feedback from the control system to show here. So you can play here with the content and give some, for example, or you can even read data like analog value. You can read any number and I mean join number and track them. So, but like I said, so it works for one room. But if you need to add a few rooms, the best way is again to use a data source and use dynamic subpage. Okay, let's remove this and go new modern way. Okay, data sources. Let's use, for example, light maybe more. Yeah, it looks pretty like what we're looking for. Okay, let's clone data source lights. Rename it to climate. Okay, and here we just change, like this is climate. And let's add this name. Oh, climate 2, climate 3. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. For our example, it will be more than enough. And save, return, create subpage. Subpage, let's name is, again, responsive, adaptive, it's up to you. To be honest, I am more favorite about responsive. It's make less issues with different resolutions. Okay, let's name it sub climate. And next step, we open this subclimate and add our circle slider. So now we have a subpage with one circle slider. Okay, what we can do next? Next, let's add this subpage to the page climate. So we return back to the climate. Select subpage element. Next, we select here subpage, which we call sub climate. And it's not going to be single, it's going to be a list. So, and this here again, few different approaches. You can do it static and control amount of elements manually, but actually we're gonna use dynamic. When we press dynamic, it's asking us to select a data source. So in this case, we just select a climate. So here we have a data source and we have to select actually array which we're gonna read. We know it's array of 3 items. We selected this array, press save. Now we have 3 elements. Now we can put them horizontally and here we go. Okay, but we still don't have any parameters. Let's, for example, for content, let's do title and give the name instead of this text. Use parameters. We're going to create new parameters and name it title. String. In default value, let's just name title. Okay. Save. Next, for example, you would like to see an action. We gonna use or on change, but best practice, it will be after change with some delays. It's again up to you. We can use like 50 milliseconds. And for the single name, we also can assign a dynamic value. So subpage parameter. Next, let's say it's value, and it's going to be a number. Okay, save. Create action. And now we have action for the circle. So return back to the climate. In the climate, we open extend parameters. For the title, we're going to use a system name. So select dynamic and system name. Or we can use localization, but I had to rename this. We can do this if you would like. Okay, for example, language. Okay. Oh, text, I'm sorry. Okay, and here for the value, I didn't prepare like a drawing numbers, but let's use just control ID, like idea. Okay, and save. So what does it mean? Just let's look inside the data source climate. So we have a control ID 1, control ID 2, control ID 3. It means that each of these element has new ID. Let's look at our live preview. So when we press button and release, it actually should send 1 to 76. How to see this? Press F12. And let's see what's going on here. So we press release, and what we see here, oh, my bad. My bad, and let's fix this. I forget to change this. It's digital. Let's edit subpage climate, and for the action, we just have to create. Instead of push digital, we should use a push analog with execution 50 milliseconds and select value. So we already have parameter, it's a value. Save, and that's it. Now we create. Look at here. Let's clean. Now, okay, so we see we just push analog release. Oh, it's on change. This is why I said it's not really good, because on change it's sent right away. So the best practice is usually after change. But again, depends on your application. You can use any of this action. Okay, press 1, release 24. 24 sent to number 1. Let's use number 3, send 68, and it's sent to analog 3, 68. I hope it is makes sense, everything. So any question, just leave below, ask us directly. Yeah, this is pretty much everything what we have. Okay, thank you so much, and yeah, looking forward to see your questions.